Hey, you did it. You found it. You found the podcast version of the show. It's Writer Radio. Here are the things you need to know. We stream live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time at writerradio.com. 2, you can find every episode on YouTube, youtube.com/@writerradio. We're on Spotify, same name, Writer Radio. We are on Twitter or X @BradWriter, BradRiter. We're on Instagram @Writer Radio. There's a group now, Writer Radio Facebook group. Go there, find that, follow that, like it, whatever you have to do. We've got a phone number. You can send texts, leave voicemail, 716-288-5246. Email, bradwriter@gmail.com. You don't need to memorize this. It can all be found at writerradio.com. That's the hub. But those are the places. Thanks for listening. Please tell a friend. Please share. That's how we grow. Glad to have you on board to the podcast version of Writer Radio. September 17th, 2025. It's episode 168 of Writer Radio. Coming at you live from my house. I live here. You know what's tough about, I'll call it working from home. All right, that's a phrase people use, right? Working from home. You ever you get to work and you just can't wait till you're done with work, even if it's a super fun job. I'm just like, you know what I would like to do now is I would like to sleep again. That's kind of where I am right now. I'm kind of looking forward to noon. That's not nice. That makes it sound like I'm not dedicated to you for the next 2 hours, which I am. But I'm also excited to not do this and go back to bed. I'll probably be wide awake by the time the show is over, and maybe I won't even want to. But right now, like, all I'm thinking about is how much more comfortable a bed is than a chair. You know? All right. Here's what's up. I think I've got Bob Gaughan on today. Pretty sure. I haven't received confirmation from him today, but I'm pretty sure we agreed on 11 o'clock Wednesday. And then looking at my sheet from yesterday, I think I was supposed to have Chris Trapasso on yesterday, and I forgot completely to call him because I never used my sheet. So yesterday's show was a little weird in that I got confused about the time. I thought I had overslept. I hadn't overslept. I was fine, but then I just jumped on right at 10 and just whipped through. I never even got out my sheet. I had my kids on. It was a weird day. Everyone was homesick from school. Everyone. All of them. And then you take today, everyone's gone, including my wife. My wife actually had to go. She works from home generally, but once a week, once every 2, whatever, every now and occasionally, she's got to be somewhere. And today is the day she had to be somewhere. So I had to get up to make sure the kids left for school on time. And now nobody's here. So yesterday, I'm doing this show in a house of 5. Today, I'm doing this show in a house of 1. It's just me, just hanging out. So I like that part. I like the part where everybody's fine now. Everybody was fine yesterday, too. My wife had COVID. She's good now. The kids all decided to pretend they were sick yesterday. And then they all got tested for COVID, and no one has anything. Everybody's fine. Everyone's fine. So they're back to school, back to normal. Everything is A-okay. And I like it better this way. I like it better when they go. Like having them around. Love having them not around on occasion. Not for the whole, just, for the school day. The regular arrangement, the regular deal, the regular plan, what we thought would happen in life is you have kids, and then when they hit a certain age, then they go to school all day. We didn't count on the COVID part of it. We didn't count on homeschool or digital learning or whatever that crap was. And yesterday just felt like that again. I mean, no one was actually doing anything, but everyone was just home. It sucked. Who wants that? Who wants 5 people home all day? I don't. Tell you that. All right, it is Writer Radio. The first thing I saw this morning is that Cardi B is pregnant. Now, do you know who Cardi B is? I never talk about Cardi B. I don't know that I've ever said Cardi B out loud in my life before. Cardi B is I want to say singer, but I think rapper. I've seen her face. I know her face. I know her name. I don't know what she, I don't know her songs or anything. I don't know what she does. But she's pregnant with her 4th kid. And the dad is Stefon Diggs. Grammy winner revealed she's having a baby with her boyfriend, New England Patriots wide receiver Stefon Diggs. Confirming weeks of speculation about her personal life, she said the baby is due before the start of her first arena tour, Little Miss Drama, which begins in February. If she's Little Miss Drama and she has a kid with Stefon Diggs, I think you got a new Little Miss Drama. If it's a girl. If it's a boy, it's Mr. Drama. Senor Drama. But that sounds like a crazy baby to me. Doesn't that sound like a crazy baby? She's 32. She's happy and excited, preparing to release new music and balancing motherhood. She says, I feel like I'm in a good space. I feel very strong. I feel very powerful that I'm doing all this work. But I'm doing all this work while I'm creating a baby. Me and my man. We're very supportive of each other. She and Diggs share the same ambition. Each is determined to be the greatest in their field. She also credited Diggs with giving her a sense of stability as she readies her next album, Am I the Drama, which includes a track called Safe. And he just makes me feel safe and very confident and very strong. This is tough because I almost want to help Cardi B through this situation. I don't know her at all. I also didn't know that her real name is Balcalis Marlenis Almanzar, but it is. That must be the B in Cardi B. Balcalis. Balcalis? Belcalis? That's not a name. Neither is Cardi, though. Anyway, that just sounds like it's going to be a crazy baby, right? Stefon Diggs and Cardi B having a kid. She's got drama in the title of her album and her tour. Two of them. Am I the Drama? Little Miss Drama. Stefon Diggs drama. I want to help her because it feels like we know Diggs now. Like, Diggs makes her feel safe. Maybe he's a great person. Maybe he's excellent. Maybe he's not at all what I think he is. But he's Little Miss Drama himself. So then you add Little Miss Drama to Cardi B. Little Miss Drama. It's just massive drama. Too much drama. She has butt implants. Is it true? Arbo says Cardi B has butt implants. Arbo reports. Live from Niagara Falls, Arbo reporting that Cardi B has butt implants. Is the B for butt? Cardi butt? No? All right. Here's the deal. I think Bob Gaughan will join me at 11 o'clock. Let me check again and see if we have a confirmation. Usually right around now is when I'll get a confirmation text from Bob. And I do not have one right now, but I think we'll have Bob Gaughan today at 11 o'clock. And that's it. That's the plan for the day. I am thrown off completely by a Thursday Bills game. I know it's too early in the season to have a Thursday thrown at me. I like when they are in the first game of the year, the first Thursday. That's fine. But they just played 5 minutes ago, and they're back at it tomorrow. But it feels like today. So I've been off. Like yesterday, I kept thinking the Bills are playing today. I kept thinking they're going to play tomorrow, is what I thought yesterday. Tomorrow's. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Yesterday I thought today. Today I realize it's not today, but it feels like it should be today. I'm ready. Even though they played 10 seconds ago. But my clock is all off. I got a text from one of Nate's baseball coaches. He has practice on Sundays. Practices from 9 to noon. He's like, hey, can Nate stick around and do some extra stuff after practice? And I was like, yeah, the Bills aren't playing. Who cares? You can do whatever. You can have them the whole day. I don't mind. Because the Bills game will be over and done with. Bills and Dolphins tomorrow night. Not tonight, but tomorrow. And then we get, I don't know, it's kind of a relaxing Sunday when the Bills aren't a part of it. Because I might watch some football, and I might not watch some football. And you can pick and choose. You don't have to dedicate any part of your schedule to it. It's just, when it's there, and if it's not, it's not. It's fine. It's great. So generally speaking, I like the part where they're playing in the middle of the week. I just kind of want it to be today instead of tomorrow. I don't know who's playing on Sunday. I haven't looked at all at the NFL schedule. NFL this week. Let's see what kind of stuff we've got coming up. All right, here we go. Week 3 schedule. It was just there. There it is. Okay, NFL 2025, Week 3. What have we got on Sunday? Sunday, 1 o'clock. This Falcons at Panthers, terrible. Packers at Browns, no. Texans at Jaguars, no. Bengals at Vikings, probably not. No Burrow. Steelers at Patriots, no. Rams, Eagles, yes. I like that one. That's a 1 o'clock game. Rams at Eagles. Jets at Bucks, no. Colts at Titans, no. Raiders, Commanders, no. All right, so Rams, Eagles at 1 o'clock. That should be a national game on Fox, I would think. Or close to national. We should get that one. Or are we going to get stuck with the Jets? Oh, look at the Jets and Bucks. That sucks. 4 o'clock games. Broncos at Chargers. Yes, interested. Saints at Seahawks. No. Cowboys at Bears. Not really. Cardinals at Niners. No. Chiefs at Giants. No. Well, 0-2 against 0-2. That's all right. I'll watch that. I'll watch Sunday Night Football and root for Brian Dable. Root along with Scott Wilson for his Giants. Try to see the Chiefs go to 0-3. That'd be awesome. They're 0-2 for the first time since, I think it's 2014. I meant to look up their last 3-game losing streak, because they are on a 3-game losing streak if you count the Super Bowl. That's been fun. It's fun if the Chiefs are not, like, super relevant to our lives for the next several months, that would be awesome. Just a thing we don't have to worry about. And who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody and said, you know, part of it, I mean, it was Dan Cave. Part of the Chiefs just sort of going away lately, and I know it's just 0-2. They can bounce right back. It doesn't feel like it. Feels like they're just going to have a down year, which is great. But I'm not going to write them off. Part of it, I think, is opening the season against the Ravens and having that be the Sunday night game, the featured game in the whole freaking NFL for week 1 is Bills-Ravens. And there wasn't much talk about the Chiefs during a Bills-Ravens game because that one was so intense and it was just thought to be the top 2 teams in the conference. And like, just because that game happened right at the beginning, the story of the NFL and of the AFC this year started to be told without the Chiefs being involved. And it is kind of stuck. Like, this is a nice, comfortable. You know how excited I am that the 3 kids all went to school today? I'd more excited if the Chiefs just went away. Like, my kids will be back, and that's cool. They'll come back today, this afternoon. They'll all be home. And I'll be ready for them to be home when they get home. But I'm not ready for the Chiefs to come back. I would like the Chiefs to just vanish. And I don't know how likely it is that the Giants can take them out on Sunday night. But maybe. If they're 0-3 and the Bills are 3-0, wow. You know, you're thinking about the division. You're thinking about the 1 seed. But there's also this, like, what are they going to do about the fact that they can never beat the Chiefs in the playoffs? Like, that part is just hanging there. And if they were to not be a part of the playoffs somehow, it'd be great. What are the records? What's going on elsewhere in that division? Hold on. No thanks to that. Standings. I want standings. Where are the standings? NFL.com. Here you go. AFC West has the 2-0 Chargers, 1-1 Raiders, 1-1 Broncos, 0-2 Chiefs. If the playoffs started today, which they don't, there's still 15 more games to be played by each team. But if they started today, the Chiefs would be, they're out. How many 2-0 teams are in the AFC? Just 1 per division, I think, right? Yeah. All right, so the Chargers, the Colts, the Bengals without Burrow, and the Bills all sit at 2-0. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good situation. Things are shaping up all right. And I know it's been talked about everywhere, but I think it's time for me to do it too. How ridiculous does this Bills schedule look right now? What they've got coming up is just there's nothing there. They're already sitting at 2-0. They should take care of the stupid Dolphins tomorrow, right? So that's 3-0, followed by home against the Saints, home against the Patriots, at Atlanta, bye at Carolina. before meeting the Chiefs on November 2nd. The Bills don't play anybody till November. They're sitting at 2-0. They play no one. Now, more than likely, they'll drop one of those games. But they probably won't drop two of them. I can't imagine you lose to Miami at home. I can't even picture what that is. Josh Allen is 12-2, I think, all time against the Dolphins. Home against the Saints. I mean, you're going to lose at home against the Saints? You're going to lose at home on Sunday Night Football against the Patriots? You're going to lose in Atlanta? Maybe. That one seems the trickiest of everything I've just discussed. And then a bye, and then at Carolina. And then the season begins. Well, sort of. You've got the Chiefs. Maybe the Chiefs are nothing. Maybe the Chiefs have regressed to where we'd like them to be for the rest of our lives, please. Those guys can go away. And you're at the Dolphins, home against Tampa, at Houston, at Pittsburgh, home against the Bengals, at the Patriots, at the Browns, home against the Eagles, home against the Jets. That doesn't sound like a real season. Like that seems, I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overstate it. Injuries can happen. You can get a little cold. You can, run into some sort of adversity. But my God, I've heard a lot of people referencing how easy the schedule looks this year. But then you actually walk yourself through it game by game. Where are they losing exactly? I don't know, man. That seems so easy. I don't have to do it. I don't have to play. I told you I can't wait for the show to be over so I can sleep more. So this is not like me being better than any. This is the team. This has nothing to do with me. But I'm pretty confident that win total is going to be pretty high. Looking at the schedule, especially between now and November 2nd. I mean, it's today's September 17th. And the next game that looks losable is to that 0-2 Chiefs team we started talking about, and it comes on November 2nd. I'm not saying they will win all the games, but they're going to be favored in all those games. They're definitely going to be favored in every one of these games. I didn't look at the spread for tomorrow. But I can. Why don't I do that? I'll just look it up. I'm at a computer. Did you know that? I've got a computer right in front of me. It tells me all the stuff. All right, point, spread, Bills, Dolphins. What do we got? Bills favored by massive point spread against Dolphins. What's massive? 11.5? 13.5? 12.5. There it is. Bills open as a massive 12.5 point favorite over the Dolphins. That number is down to a point as of Tuesday to 11.5 per FanDuel Sportsbook. While following a point over the course of a few days, the point spread remains massive and is the widest between the Bills and Miami since 2023. That's not that long ago. The Bills failed to cover a 14-point spread in Week 18 against the Dolphins. Fine. Bills are 9-7-1 against the spread against the Dolphins since McDermott took over. 3-4 against the spread against Miami since the start of 2022. Last season, they covered a 2.5. I don't care about that. It's interesting to consider the reason for the slight spread shift as we inch closer to game day, but perhaps injuries are a consideration. For bookmakers, teams are dealing with multiple ailing players. The Buffaloes are perhaps a bit more significant. It's just about Milano. Unlikely to play. Ed Oliver is expected to be out. Matt Milano, pec. Not like Paul Peck, but pectoral. Paul Pectoral? No. Former All-Pro linebacker Matt Milano, pec, seems unlikely to play, while starting defensive tackle Ed Oliver, ankle, is also expected to be out for the second straight week. Miami is without starting. Wait, is this real? Do they have a player named Storm Duck? That can't be real. Does Miami have a starting cornerback named Storm Duck? Or is this just like AI going wild and just making things up? I'm looking up Storm Duck. Storm Duck. There he is. There's a guy named Storm Duck. Storm Chandler Duck. What? Who is this guy? How have I never heard of Storm Duck? Storm Duck. Played at North Carolina and Louisville. He's the son of Phyllis and Todd Duck, of course. He's named after Storm Logan, a character on the soap opera The Bold and the Beautiful. That's not a bad name, Storm Duck. But at Boiling Springs High School in South Carolina. When was he drafted? Undrafted. Undrafted free agent, signed with the Dolphins April of 2024. Made the roster last year. 35 tackles, 1 for loss. Storm Duck. How UNC's Storm Duck got his name and why he's a freshman starter for the Tar Heels? Well, not anymore. Storm Duck? All right, well, he's hurt. We're not going to see him. We're probably not going to see him tomorrow. No Storm Duck. Sorry. All right. I'm going to play a song. Be right back. It is Writer Radio. It's episode 168. We're taking you up until noon. I believe Bob Gaughan will join me just around 11 o'clock. Just about 11 o'clock. He's usually passing by just around 11 o'clock. He's the ice cream man. Watch him as he's passing by. You follow? Music time. Be right back. It's Writer Radio. This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com. You know, you don't have to Google something just because somebody says to. Just because you get a message in the chat that says she has butt implants, pull up a picture, you'll see. So I Google Cardi B butt implant. You guys ever do that? You ever type that into a web browser? I felt safe because nobody's home, so I could type Cardi B butt implants is what I typed in. And I'm going to not open any of these articles. I'm just going to read you what appears on your screen if you type in Cardi B butt implants. First thing is a link to a story from the American Society of Plastic Surgeons. Headline, Cardi B's horrifying story serves as a reminder, ... And then you can just see the beginning. In the GQ story, Cardi B reveals that she had black market buttock injections, a buttock augmentation with fat grafting, a.k.a. the Brazilian butt, and then it ends. The next one, Cardi B details getting another round of her butt, ... Is Cardi B's queen-sized booty natural or the result of ... Cardi B's butt goes viral after twerking at Revolve Festival. Cardi B shares she got more of her butt injections. Cardi B detailed removing her butt injections. Cardi B before the breast implants and butt injections. Cardi B admits that canceling shows due to plastic surgery has cost her ... How much did Cardi B pay for her BBL? Did Cardi B confirm any procedures? Cardi B reveals wild butt injection removal in pregnancy. Illegal butt injections. Cardi B shares horrifying story. Cardi B reveals her wild butt injection removal. Cardi B BBL smell. Hydrogel buttock injections before and after. Cardi B BBL burst on stage. Cardi B before surgery. Did Cardi B get a BBL? Cardi B BBL Coachella. What are butt injections? Cardi B Instagram. That's just one page of Googling Cardi B and butt implants. I want to read the black market one. Cardi B Say It Ain't So was my immediate reaction after reading GQ's excellent interview with the rising hip-hop star. The article tells an amazing story of nonstop hustle and determination. However, one moment recounts a terrifying medical decision that could have ended it all before it began. In the story, Cardi B reveals that she had black market buttock injections, and she details the horrifying story of what she went through on a quest to obtain better curves. As a plastic surgeon, I've been fortunate enough, this is not me speaking, I'm reading what Stephen Williams, MD, had to say back in 2018. As a plastic surgeon, I've been fortunate enough to care for thousands of patients who have undergone body contouring enhancements, and I've performed thousands of fat transfer operations and filler injections to safely enhance the contours of my patients. I've also taken my share of patients who have sought body contouring improvements through other means, such as injections of silicone and other adulterated substances from a shady underworld of illegal injectors. I've seen enough of these patients that Good Morning America gave me an opportunity to share one patient's story as a warning to the world about the very real dangers of underworld injectors. I think I've read enough. I don't want to keep reading this. Do I? Yeah, all right. All of these patients had the same horrifying result. deformity, pain, scarring, and the need for more surgery. Each of them told the same story. They heard a rumor or had a friend. It was so much cheaper than a plastic surgeon. The injectors sold them on the idea of easy, consequence-free treatment. They wanted better curves, but trusted the wrong people to help them in their journey. All right, just going to read the words as they're printed on the screen. As I'm scanning ahead, it doesn't seem to make a ton of sense, but I'm just going to read the words that are here. Quote, Cardi claimed her ass from the universe in a basement apartment in Queens, where for $800, a woman injected her buttocks with filler. They don't numb your ass with anything, she says. It was the craziest pain ever. I felt like I was going to pass out. I felt a little dizzy, and it leaks for like 5 days. Okay. Cardi B is not my patient, but her post-op description sounds medically terrifying. A non-sterile environment without appropriate equipment or staff, being injected with who knows what. Only physicians and mid-level providers can even legally prescribe things like filler or Botox. Draining wounds with no follow-up because your provider's in jail for allegedly killing someone with the very same treatment you got. Not ideal. These black market injections can come back to haunt patients years later, almost like a time bomb. Patients can develop infections, ulcerations, pain, and even cancer. What? Protect yourself by insisting on the following when looking for any body contouring procedure. This is the PSA. This is from me to you. This is just to keep all of us safe. Okay? Protect yourself by insisting on the following. 1, use only board-certified plastic surgeons. 2, talk to multiple providers, review their experience, have them discuss realistic outcomes, risks, and benefits of the planned procedure. This is for any of you who are considering black market butt implants. 3, be sure the procedures are performed in accredited facilities with the necessary support staff and safety equipment. Cardi B seems incredibly lucky to have avoided very real and very serious complications. Patients should always seek well-trained health professionals who will provide the best care for their curves. Your life isn't worth anything less. So says Dr. Stephen Williams of Dublin, California, about Cardi B's horrifying story, serving as a reminder the dangers of illegal buttocks injections. Arbo likes big butts and cannot lie. Duke of Williamsville says illegal butt injections is a great album title. Yeah, that's good. So that's not what I intended to talk about right here. What I want to talk about is Tom Brady, real quick. So Tom Brady he used to play football. I don't know if you guys remember, he's a quarterback. He was at Michigan first, and then eventually played for the Buccaneers. I don't remember if he did anything between the Wolverines and the Buccaneers, but he's been around. He's an older guy, younger than me, but older than people. Older than football players. And he's an announcer, but he's also a part owner of the Raiders. And Monday night, here's the Mike Florio version of the story. Mike Florio from ProFootballTalk.com and NBC Sports. He writes, on Monday night, the Tom Brady conflict of interest that had been hiding in plain sight for months moved to the front burner when Tom Brady couldn't hide from being in plain sight of ESPN cameras while in the Raiders coaching box. It's become the story of the day, and coincidentally, Fox CEO Eric Shanks appeared earlier in the day at the Front Office Sports Tuned In event. Asked about Brady's dual roles for Fox and the Raiders, Shanks had nothing to say. Not going to answer that, he said. If there's a conversation that needs to be had after last night, we'll have it. There's no conversation to be had. This is Florio now. There's no conversation to be had because it's obvious the NFL doesn't want to have one. Well, doesn't want to have one. The league made this mess when it approved 11 months ago Brady's acquisition of a piece of the Raiders, despite his 10-year, $375 million arrangement with Fox. To do an about-face now would be to admit that they screwed the pooch previously, and so the best play for everyone will be to say as little as possible and to wait for the next bright, shiny object to roll down the pro football assembly line. It's coming in only 2 nights, and the Bills host the Dolphins. I am not positive that I care at all if Brady is both an announcer and a part owner of the Raiders. Maybe it's that the Raiders are a pretty irrelevant franchise. Maybe that's it. Like, just thinking about where the Bills are right now, there's a few teams that matter, and the rest kind of don't. Right now. It feels as though in the AFC, the Chiefs obviously matter. And I think the Chargers matter. I think the Bengals matter. I think the Ravens matter. That's kind of it. Maybe the Broncos. Maybe the Steelers. Not the Raiders. They're not on my mind at all. So if Tom Brady is calling a Bills game one night and then he's rooting for his team that he partially owns another night, does it matter? If he's part owner of the Chiefs or the Ravens and I'm watching a game on TV, that would feel gross. I don't know why this doesn't feel like anything to me, but it doesn't. It feels fine. I accept. Right? I mean, what does it hurt? Does it hurt anything? Travis Hunter has played 61% of offensive snaps and 37% of defensive snaps. I haven't watched the Jaguars at all. They want wide receiver, cornerback Travis Hunter to be the NFL's only true two-way player in decades, but through 2 games, he's not a full-time player on either offense or defense. See, I thought we were going to say that was a high number. If you played 61% on offense and 37% on defense, that's pretty good. That adds up to 98. I mean, I know they're independent, but whatever. That's highly unusual. He's played 61% on offense, 37% on defense the first 2 weeks. It's highly unusual. Only 4 NFL players have played on both sides of the ball this season, and the other 3 are almost exclusively defensive players who played less than 5% on offense. Cooper DeJean from Philly. I didn't know he was playing offense, but apparently he is. Aiden Huntington. I'd never even heard of him, from Cleveland. And Pittsburgh's Jalen Ramsey are the other 3. Contrary to suggestions, the Jaguars would give Hunter a bigger workload than he could physically handle. Hunter actually isn't playing an extraordinary number of snaps. He's played 133 this season, more than 100 NFL players, including 9 on the Jaguars. Let me say that again. More than 100 NFL players, including 9 on the Jaguars, have played more total snaps than that. It's just that those other players are only playing on one side of the ball, sometimes special teams. So far, Hunter has not had a huge impact. He's got 9 passes for 55 yards. One of those catches was for a first down. On defense, he has no picks, 1 pass defended, 3 combined tackles. He's doing something unique by getting significant snaps on both sides of the ball, but through 2 weeks, he has not been a major impact player. All right, well, we'll track that. That's interesting. It's fun. Quote from Jalen Waddle about facing the Bills. Dolphins are, quote, feeling no pressure at all heading to Buffalo. Is this a Florio story? No, Miles Simons, also ProFootballTalk.com. It's been a minute since the Dolphins beat the Bills. It's been even longer since Miami beat Buffalo in Western New York. The Bills have defeated the Dolphins in 15 of their last 17, including the postseason. The last Miami victory was September 25th, 2022, on a hot day in South Florida. That was a garbage game. Remember that one? Super hot, super crazy. Like a million different things went wrong for the Bills, and then they barely lost anyway. The last time the Dolphins beat the Bills in Buffalo was 2016. Bills head coach was Rex Ryan. Dolphins coach was Adam Gase. Wow. Jalen Waddle was still in high school, so he's never had a happy flight back to South Florida. But even as the Dolphins head to the Bills at 0-2, Waddle said the team's feeling no pressure at all. We're just trying to play the best ball that we can, go out there and compete at a high level, do our jobs, get a win. Part of that is because Waddle sees Miami's issues over the first 2 games as things that are definitely correctable. So it's definitely something that was self-inflicted that we can go out there, prepare for, and don't have it happen again. And it's the first time the club is playing a primetime standalone game this season. So if you're not excited about playing on primetime, you really shouldn't be in this sport. We're going to be the only game on TV going into the week. This is what the game is all about. Yeah, it should be fun. Well, okay. Bring it on. Come visit and take your sad flight home. Dolphins, that's what you do. You come here and lose football games regularly. And I like it. I'm here for it, as the kids would say. Aren't you? It's fun. All right, Bob Gaughan's going to join us in a couple minutes. I'm Brad. I don't have a song that I want to play right now. I haven't reloaded the music in a couple weeks, so it's like all the same stuff, and I don't want to say I'm bored with it, but I don't have anything that's like screaming at me, like jumping off the page, as something that I want to play. So I'm going to just hit something right here. We go. Here's someone we don't hear often. Jimmy Eat World. How often do we play Jimmy Eat World? Not very. Do I have a praise chorus available? If I do, yeah, okay. That's a good one. I'm going to play that one, then another one. And Bob will be here. So stick around. I'm Brad. It's Writer Radio. This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com.
The way my kids date now, it's so simple. They go on an app, whether it's Grindr or whatever, they swipe right, swipe left, and they get the date automatically.
Let's check in with Writer Radio's
living legend,
Bob Gaughan.
Yep, let's do that. Bob Gaughan, what's happening, man? How are you?
Good, Brian. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm ready for Thursday Night Football. It's only Wednesday, so I'm just kind of pacing. I'm ready. They just played 5 minutes ago, and I want them to play again.
Yeah, it's fun. And then
yeah.
When you're just blowing teams out.
It is cool. It's cool. And when the Chiefs are on too, that's cool too.
No, it is, and this should be a blowout. One thing about the Bills and McDermott, because I do criticize McDermott, but he, in his history, has destroyed mediocre quarterbacks. And
Yeah.
I think you saw that with Justin Fields last week. And I would put Tua in that category of mediocre quarterback.
100%. 100%.
And as bad as McDermott is, I think, in the playoffs against great quarterbacks, he's equally as good in the regular season against the mediocre quarterbacks. And there's just a ton of those guys around, recently, and two this last 2 weeks, Justin Fields and Tua this week. And I just every time the Bills are playing one of those guys, I just assume, all right, this is going to be, an ass kicking.
Well, Josh Allen is, I think, 12-2 regular season against the Dolphins. It's what we've, or 10-2, 12-2, whatever it is. It's hard to even, and you can even remember one of the losses was that crazy, super hot, everyone's dehydrated, people are collapsing at the end of the games, and they barely lost that one. This isn't going to be that. This is going to be just regular Buffalo weather on a Thursday night in September. I think it's a thumping coming your way right in front of the home fans. So that'll be cool. That's good. What are your thoughts on Robert Redford? Robert Redford passed away yesterday. I didn't talk much about it. I don't know a ton of his stuff. Like, it's just he predates me by a little bit. Obviously I've seen The Natural, here and there, but I don't have a super fully formed opinion of Robert Redford.
Well, there's 3 movies you had to see. There's 3. So if you say, what are your favorite Robert Redford movies? Somebody's got to give you one of these 3.
Butch
One
Cassidy.
is being The Natural.
Yeah.
The other being Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I mean, just awesome. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, by the way, for film buffs, which I know you are, one of the first films ever where they had the bad guys basically have a personality. And that's what made that still unique to this day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guys that are robbing the banks, you're kind of rooting for because they are fun and they have a great, the director. So that was kind of, I think, innovative for back then.
Sure.
And maybe even to this day. You don't really see many movies where they kind of flip the script and the person that you're kind of rooting for is the person that is supposedly the bad guy, right?
Yeah, I would say like mob movies. It kind of, I'm thinking of The Sopranos also, like that sort of thing, where Tony's like anti-hero, but it stands out when that's the case. Breaking Bad, where it stands out that I'm rooting for this guy who's a meth dealer. Like, it's no good.
Right, and then the other movie. So those are 2. The third one, which you would absolutely love if you haven't seen it, I'm sure you have, The Sting.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do love The Sting.
God.
I forgot about that. Yep, I love The Sting.
That's one of that was my father's favorite movie of all time, and he might have watched that movie 125 times. I mean, literally. And so I've watched it just because of, and of course, I mean, you and I.
We like scams.
We like scams, of course. We like that. I mean, scams.
Yeah.
You know, I always there was a movie made 20 years after that I always recommend if you haven't seen it.
House of Games.
House of Games.
I know.
House
Yep.
of
I knew
Games.
exactly where you're going. Yep. Of course.
Right. The Sting 20 years later.
Yeah.
You gotta love that movie. So if somebody says top 3 Robert Redford movies, they should give you either The Natural, Butch Cassidy, or the Sting. Those are the 3 that you have to give. By the way, in The Natural, which of course you saw, did you know, this is like stat of the day material, Robert Redford and Wilford Brimley, the manager, are playing characters that are probably at least 20 years apart. But they're in actual age, they were only 2 years apart.
Because Wilford Brimley was 70 when he was 20.
Right. So Redford is 46 at the time, playing like a 40-year-old baseball player.
Close enough.
Brimley is 48 at the time, probably playing like a 65-year-old manager. But in actuality,
It works.
Those two guys, they were only 2 years apart. If you look at it, they're like, oh, they both played both characters,
Right, perfectly.
perfect.
Yeah, that's
that
funny.
case.
That's funny.
But when you think that the biggest thing that, I mean, his legacy would have to be Sundance too.
The film festival, yeah.
Yeah, the film festival, and giving the independent person, which is now probably tougher than ever because it's so expensive to make movies. So, giving those people a chance to make, movies, I think that would be his legacy as well.
That has always felt like something I should attend at some point. Like I don't know if a regular person can do it, or if you need to be invited, or I don't know how it works, or if it costs $1 zillion. But a film festival sounds like a place I belong. Like that would be I'd be very interested. But I've never pursued it, and I'm not going to France. I'm not going to Cannes.
No.
But Colorado seems reasonable. It seems. Or is it Colorado or Utah? Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado.
Right, yeah, Colorado. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool. What else is going on?
By the way, one of the greatest soundtracks of all time, if you like Willie Nelson, The Electric Horseman. My heroes have always been cowboys. Mama, don't let your baby grow up to be cowboys. Hands on the wheel. Just a really great soundtrack for The Electric Horseman. Maybe one of the great movie soundtracks of all time.
I've never even heard of it. The Electric Horseman?
Oh, you've heard of The Electric
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
With really Jane Fonda?
No.
Where they say,
No, sometimes things just come up that there he is. There she is. There they are. Oh, I've seen this. I've seen him wearing this ridiculous outfit. So, all right. I guess I am familiar. I didn't remember the title. But yeah, 1979 Western comedy drama starring Redford and Jane Fonda, directed by Sidney Pollack. All right. I'm in.
Not bad. All right, other things going on. Well, let's continue that theme of horrible quarterback play.
Okay.
Before we get back to the Bills, a friend of the program is not Tyler Dunn, right?
Yes.
Right? He's a friend. He's a good guy.
Yep.
He didn't. Did you see the expose he did on Caleb Williams?
No.
Last week. Oh my God. He did. Typical Tyler Dunn, piece, which takes you 2 days to read or something.
Right.
But
GoLong.com.
Go along. It just destroys him. He interviewed, I think, a lot of the former Eberflus and the former coaching staff that basically said, we'd send in plays, and he would just transmit them wrong. Here's the play. Here's what to say to the team in the huddle, and he would screw it up.
Really?
It was bad. They said that, they really didn't do good work in terms of getting him. The draft process was a joke in getting him, and he was in meetings. He would be on the wrong. We're on page 3 of the playbook, and he's on page 8. It was just a lot of bad stuff that going down Caleb Williams, which. Some of these quarterbacks in the last couple of years, Bryce Young was horrible. Caleb Williams has been horrible. J.J. McCarthy, just a lot of bad quarterback play, in the NFL from the last couple of years. But that was an interesting piece on Caleb Williams, just absolutely destroying him.
With Williams, I didn't love him at USC. I heard that he was better than I saw, I guess is kind of the way I would put it. And then watching him last year, I thought, well, this isn't working at all. And then I saw him in the preseason, and it looked different to me. The Bears looked far more interesting to me when they played the Bills in the preseason. And, I think Part of it is just the Ben Johnson vibe coming off of him. They just seem more put together, and it seemed like maybe this is the guy to make it happen for that, that particular player. And I don't know. I feel differently right now than I did a year ago about Caleb Williams. But then I hear this stuff, and I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong now. I don't reading about disrespect toward coaches, questionable work ethic, rigged draft process, dyslexia allegation. Anonymous sources within the Bears say that coaches believe Williams shows sign of having a learning disability, specifically dyslexia, which may have impacted his ability to quickly process huddle calls. And Ryan Poles was possibly aware of this before drafting him first overall. That's weird. That's not much fun.
No, I mean that was bad, and the way he played the first couple of weeks, if I was a Bears fan, not good. I'll tell you one thing that this kind of equates to the Bills. Joe Burrow, I drafted him in fantasy, and when I drafted him, my son said, "Why are you drafting a guy that always gets injured?" And like, oh my God! And now my fantasy team is down the drain because of it. My equate to the Bills is Joey Bosa. I thought was on the field way too much against the Jets. Can we just bubble wrap him until the playoffs? I don't need to see. Do we really need to see Joey Bosa? I saw what he can do. He's already created like 3 fumbles in the first 2 weeks. Brad, I don't know about you. I'm good with it. If we can just hyperspace, fast forward to January with him, I would be fine with it.
Yeah, you know what though? Don't you want to do that with everyone? I mean, isn't that that's what this whole season is? I was looking at the schedule, and I'm sure you've done this, but there's nothing on this schedule between now and the Chiefs game on November 2nd. I mean, literally, they should be able to go win with backups most of these games. There's nothing happening. And while you say it about Bosa, I mean, I would say it about everyone. I want to make sure I've got everything humming come January. That's just not the way that it works. They don't let you do that. They don't let you skip the games. They make you play them. So, where are we? How protective are we going to be? Bosa, for sure, is on that list of guys I'd like to see wrapped up and just kind of waiting. But you also don't want him to get out of the groove. You want him to have a real season. I don't know. I'm with you, but I'm torn.
Well, it's funny you talk about that because we're only 2 weeks into the season, but I'm almost willing to declare, if you look at the next 5 weeks, like the number 1 seed could be a lock right now.
Right.
We're 2 weeks into the season, but you've already got the tiebreaker on the Ravens. The Chiefs have already lost, 2 games. And, okay, maybe the Chargers, but maybe Herbert is going to turn into Herbert in a couple of weeks. And they just got a much tougher schedule. Just looking at the schedule, whatever, that AFC West is a disaster. There's no way that, anybody's going undefeated out of there.
Right.
So it's almost unbelievable that it's September 17th, and I'm almost ready to declare, I think the Bills are going to have the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Come January.
But it sure feels. I mean, part of that is seeing an 0-2 Chiefs team. That really helps. Part of it is knocking off the Ravens. That really helps. But then the rest of it is just looking at the schedule. I mean, I did this already on the show, but I'm going to do it again. They're playing Miami tomorrow. Then they're home against the Saints. Then they're home against the Patriots. Then they're at Atlanta. Then they have a bye. Then they're at Carolina. That gets you through Week 8. I mean, you should be 7-1, I would think.
Yeah. Right
there. 8-0. No, there's a bye. So 6-1 or 7-0 would be the record before you play the Chiefs on November 2nd. But then it gets, again, it's the Dolphins. It's home against the Bucs. It's at Houston. It's at Pittsburgh. Home against the Bengals. At New England. At Cleveland. Eagles. Jets. So Eagles, Week 17. They don't have a game till Christmas, man. I mean, they've got the Chiefs. They've got the Chiefs on November 2nd. Other than that, Eagles 3 days after Christmas.
And the Chiefs don't look good. But
no, they don't.
Screw the Bills with the Chiefs is this week. Miami better not trade Tyreek Hill back to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Right? That could happen. That's been a rumor. If that happens, oh my God, I want to if they actually trade Tyreek, I want to destroy them tomorrow night. If they're even thinking of that, you can't do that. You can. I mean,
you can.
Obviously they can. You could, but that's the one thing. Please don't do that, Miami.
I will say this. I'm very much more capable of hating the Chiefs when Tyreek Hill is on their team, because right now, honestly, they don't even. My wife hates Kelsey and hates Mahomes. I don't really. I don't know. They're fine. They don't really bother me that much. I get sick of losing to them in the playoffs, obviously, but it's not like I hate that team in the way that I hated losing to the Patriots regular season twice a year. That was a very strong dislike coming from me heading toward that team when Brady was there. But once he went away, like, they're kind of harmless. And honestly, the Chiefs, Hill's the player I've disliked the most in their little run here of 3 Super Bowls in 6 years or whatever it is. And him not being there makes me dislike them less. It helps me dislike Miami more. Are we talking about with Miami? When does the McDaniel thing end? Can that be tomorrow?
That could be tomorrow. Right, because you got 10 days then, and that's the time that they usually do it. If they're 0-3, if they come in and their defense has been horrible, and if you saw the stat, the first 10 times a team had the ball, they scored on Miami's defense this year. So this defense has been playing horrible. They really shouldn't be that bad. But McDaniel could go down Friday morning. If this is a game like the Bills-Jets game, I think he goes down Friday morning. So, because that's usually the time that you would do it. You would do it when you have, a few extra days to prepare for your next game.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a game that they should have won against New England. Remember, that was the September. Put the New England in a blue uniform in the sun. It's 90 degrees and 90-degree humidity. I mean, really, Miami had the huge advantage. You referenced the Bills game when 12 guys go out. That was the New England game last week, and they couldn't win that game when they had that huge September advantage.
Yeah, this could be it. This could be the end. This is exciting. Yeah. Tua, like, you're calling him mediocre. I guess mediocre I'll settle on, but I don't even think he's that. Like, is McDaniel tied to Tua? Not that you're, an insider for the Dolphins, but, like, it seems like the whole thing's not working with the quarterback and the coach. And if I'm a Dolphins fan, I think it's time to move on from both of them. But I don't know if they're prepared to do that, if that's a part of this. Like, can we just say, all right, you're not the coach anymore, and we're giving up on this quarterback thing? Because, I don't know. I don't trust him.
But I would say the one thing about McDaniel is I think he could be an offensive coordinator.
Sure.
I think he's still a good mind, so I could see him still taking a role as an offensive coordinator. And again, if the Bills were looking for an offensive coordinator because Joe Brady moved on next year, and they said we're gonna take McDaniel, I wouldn't mind that.
No, I don't like him as a head coach, but I don't mind him as a coordinator at all. That's a good point. I like it. Do you see this quote from Tua about Josh Allen? He says, Tua says, he's top tier. If it's not with his arm, it's his legs. Definitely a different skill set from me. I can't do half of what he does when it comes to running the ball and then how he can just chuck a ball down the field. That's cool. He recognizes it.
No, he does. Yeah,
Josh Allen is elite, and I am not.
No, he doesn't have the arm talent, and he's got to have everything, going for him, and he does, really. I mean, with, Hill and Waddle, and they still can't get it done there.
No.
So, yeah, that says more about – I think that says more about Tua than it does Hill, Waddle, or McDaniel. I really do.
Yes.
I think it says most about them.
Yeah, I do too. All right.
Hey, lastly, you got to explain something to me.
Okay, I'll try.
Celebration in college and pro football.
Okay.
So I'm a receiver, and I get up, and I get a first down, and I make the first down signal, and unfortunately, don't I do it right in front of the cornerback, right? 15-yard penalty. Hey, you can't do that. That's a celebration penalty, right? I saw that happen this weekend. You know what I also saw? When a defense makes a turnover, it's like a flash mob.
Yes.
It's almost like a choreographed Broadway play. It is something that the TV show Glee would be proud of. There's 11 people doing something choreographed.
Yeah.
And somehow the officials are like Frank Drebin, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. This is not a, I mean, there's flame throwers going off in the background. And like, no, nothing. Moving on, move on.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me how one is a 15-yard penalty and how the other choreographed one is not a 15-yard penalty?
I think I want to say it's something to do with making it a team thing as opposed to an individual thing. Remember, it used to be a problem if you did anything with teammates, any of the choreography, any of that stuff. That's what you would get in trouble for. Then I want to say they switched it, like, I don't know, 5 years ago or something, where it's like, well, if you're doing it with your buddies, that's okay. That's not you showing someone up. That's you getting together and showing up an entire team. I don't have an answer. I will say this though. I recently discovered the source of these choreographed celebrations, and I just watched the movie Friday Night Lights for the first time in a long time because my kids had not seen it. And when they go up against Dallas Carter, which is the big badass red team, they are doing exactly that. They get together in the end zone and celebrate together and pose for pictures and that kind of stuff. I think that might be the origin of NFL and college teams doing this now. I think it might come from that movie.
It could be. I don't know. That's good research there.
Yeah, thanks.
Good. Very good. All right.
All right, man. We will talk. We got to get a pick out of you. Do we do a pick today?
No, we can do absolutely.
If you don't have one ready, that's fine.
No. Well, let's face it. Are the Chiefs going 0-3? There's no way. Would the league allow the Chiefs to go 0-3?
I would allow it.
Absolutely. No, this is not going to be allowed. I know they're on the road. They're playing the Giants. First of all, it's only like 6 points because I just don't see Russell Wilson being able to get away with those weather balloon 60 feet in the air throws that he got away with in Dallas when he threw for 450 yards. Let's keep it simple, Brad.
Okay.
This is not going to happen. Roger Goodell will not allow Taylor Swift's team to go 0-3. So let's take the Chiefs. All right.
I think that's a good point. All right. Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
We'll talk to you soon. We'll talk to you next week. There's Bob Gaughan. We'll actually talk to him on Saturday. Right? Saturday, UB football. We're home though. 3 consecutive. This is interesting. The Bills play 3 consecutive home games. So do the Bulls. So the next 6 football games that I care about are all just happening miles from home, like right here. No travel, no nothing. I'm not going to the Bills games, but I am going to the UB games. 3 straight at home for both of our football teams, who are both off to a good start. UB sitting at 2-1. Bills sitting at 2-0. It's my kind of season, my kind of September so far. Go Bills, go Bulls. Hell yeah. I'm going to take a timeout, play a song for you, and we shall return in just a moment. You are listening to Writer Radio. It's episode 168. Thanks to Bob Gaughan for joining me just moments ago, and I shall return. Writer Radio continues, episode 168. Thanks to Bob Gaughan for joining us. He was on just after 11 o'clock and continues to come on once a week. He is a grinder. He is consistent. Once a week, every week. Bob Gaughan. Scott Wilson comes on twice a week, sometimes more. He's on Mondays and Fridays, and then occasionally jumps in to talk about extra stuff. We've got a UB football podcast to do as well, Scott and I. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, something like that. But look for that. In addition to Writer Radio, you get the specific UB content if you follow UB Bulls Insider. That's the overarching podcast thing for UB, and then contained within that is our UB football podcast. So if you just find that feed and follow it, you'll get hooked up once a week as we review the previous game and preview the upcoming game. And that is what we will do as the Bulls get set to face the Troy Trojans this weekend after a nice win on the road against Kent State. A thrilling win, to be honest. I'd say nice win. It was a little scary for a little while. They trailed 14-0. They managed to score 10 just before halftime. Quick touchdown, 3 and out. And then kind of like what the Bills did when they stole 3 points at the end of the first half against Baltimore. That's essentially what the Bulls did last weekend at Kent. And they used that to eventually come from behind and win the game. So that was fun. We'll have a lot of fun talking about that. And you can check it out on the UB Bulls Insider podcast with me and Scott Wilson. Again, that'll be recorded, I would guess, today or tomorrow. And then it'll be available online either tomorrow or Friday, depending on when we do it. That makes sense? That makes sense. I'm looking, it's Patrick Mahomes' birthday or something. I don't know when. I got to figure out what day that is. All right. When is Patrick Mahomes' birthday? Might be today. He's 30. Patrick Mahomes' birthday. September 17th. That's today. He's 30 years old today. Born September 17th, 1995. And the gross story that I clicked on is Patrick Mahomes turns 30. Where does he rank among the greatest quarterbacks of all time? He's already one of the most accomplished signal callers ever. And they list the 35 greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. Top of your head, where does Mahomes sit? The greatest of all time. There are 2 Bills on here. The current one, Josh Allen, is listed as number 30. It says longevity is the only reason why he isn't higher on the list. A 3-time Pro Bowler, Allen has earned a spot on the list after winning his first league MVP. At the end of the 2024 season, a Super Bowl win would do wonders for Allen and his legacy. Yeah, that's true. So they've got Josh Allen 30th. Just ahead of Josh Allen is Warren Moon, then Phillip Rivers, 27 Len Dawson, 26 Sonny Jurgensen, 25 Dan Fouts, 24 Jim Kelly. Now, I get that he's in the Hall of Fame. But is there a person, would Jim Kelly tell you that he's a better quarterback than Josh Allen? If they had a draft right now, if the league just started over, who's even in the conversation to go first overall other than Josh? And I'm not saying it's a no-brainer, but it's a limited number of people that are in that conversation. And I think he's probably first. Like, you're starting a franchise right now with anybody in the league. How would it not be him? So how is Jim Kelly 6 spots ahead of him on this list? I don't know. Sammy Baugh, Ken Stabler, Y.A. Tittle. Number 20, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. Given his lack of longevity, you could argue that Jackson may be ranked a tad too high on this list. For me, though, Jackson's legacy as the greatest running quarterback in NFL history, in addition to having the highest passer rating in league annals, more than justifies his spot in the top 20. Jackson could eventually be a top 15 or even top 10 quarterback of all time if he ever wins a Super Bowl. All right. You can say that. But to say Josh Allen's 30th, and the whole point of this article is to find out where Patrick Mahomes sits. Right now we've got Allen at 30, Kelly at 24, Lamar Jackson at 20. It's gross. Kurt Warner, Ben Roethlisberger, 18. 17, Troy Aikman. 16, Bart Starr. 15, Fran Tarkenton. 14, Roger Staubach. 13, Terry Bradshaw. 12, Otto Graham. 11, Steve Young. 10, Drew Brees. 9, Brett Favre. 8, Aaron Rodgers. 7, Patrick Mahomes. They've got him 7th of all time. I don't have him. Well, one of just 2. See, this, you can't read anything anymore. Nothing is right. This says just one of just 2 active players on this list. I already read you 2 active players on the list. He's 3rd. I already brought up Josh. I already brought up Lamar Jackson. But whatever. Here we go with these robot-created articles. One of just 2 active players on the list. Mahomes is more than deserving of his top 10 position. The 29-year-old is already a 2-time league and 3-time Super Bowl MVP. Has an astonishing 106-29 record as chief starter, including 17-4 in the postseason. His 5 Super Bowl starts is tied with John Elway for the 2nd most in history. That's fine. He can be up there. It's the Lamar Jackson part of it that is maddening to me. What the hell's Lamar Jackson doing on this list? It's not the same thing. Elway, Unitas 5, Marino 4, Peyton Manning 3, Joe Montana 2, Tom Brady 1. Fine. I will be honest, despite the fact that I've already talked about Tom Brady on this show today because of him being spotted in the coach's box at the Raiders game, but he's also a broadcaster for Fox, and that's kind of weird. But in reading this list, I got to Montana. I was like, who's better than Montana? And then there's Brady. I was like, oh, yeah, forgot about him. But it's nice to forget he exists once in a while. I don't like how his face looks. I used to argue with my wife, and I was on the side of he is a very good-looking guy, and she's never liked him. But now he looks like a weirdo, right? There's something with the jaw or there's something. I'm not comfortable looking at him on screen anymore. He's gotten a little weird. I don't know if that's work, if that's, ingesting whatever stuff he does to keep himself young. I don't know what's going on. He shouldn't look younger now than he did in college, and he kind of does, but he also looks less like a person than he used to. So I'm not enjoying what's going on with Tom Brady's face. Is my overall point. I'm glad he's not playing anymore, and I'm tired of looking at him. Although I will say, from an announcing standpoint, just as like a color guy on the games, kind of like him now. Kind of gotten to where I'm okay. If I don't see him, I don't want to look at him. He looks all weird. But I think last year he was, I don't know if he was trying to do too much or whatever it was. It's overblown that he's a broadcaster. And they made too big a deal of, like, we've got Tom Brady now. And obviously the contract is massive. I don't care about that, though. I just found him to not be insightful enough last year. And this year I've seen him once or twice already and thought, this is all right. This is okay. I said seen. I've heard him call the game. When I look at him, I can't stand him. But when I'm just listening to him do the broadcast, I've come around on Tom Brady. He's okay. I now welcome him into my home as a broadcaster as long as I don't have to see his face. Does that seem fair? I think that's fair. All right. What do we have? I'm trying. Oh, you know what I haven't mentioned today is that our show is brought to you by Brian Janik at thefinancialguys.com. He is 20 plus years in the business. He is an independent insurance broker that you don't have to pay. You just consult with him, and he helps you navigate through whatever it is that you need help with. So he takes pressure off of you, particularly if you are about to hit 65. If Medicare is in your future and you don't know how to navigate that whole thing, Brian Janik hooks you up. And he gets paid by insurance companies, so you don't have to pay him at all. You just meet with him, and he helps you navigate things. So we're happy to have him on board, along with the Financial Guys and thefinancialguys.com. Check him out there, thefinancialguys.com. Brian Janik, Janak. He's a friend of the program. He's a sponsor of the program, and he's a good dude. You'll like him. Check him out. All right. What are we doing here? We got 12 minutes left officially in the show, but I have a little problem that I need to take care of real quick. So I'm gonna put on a song. It's a long song. I'll be back. I'll do something else, but we need a long song here for we just do. Okay? We don't need to go into too much detail. And I had one ready. It was long, and it's not here anymore, so now I have to find it again. And once I find it, then I'm going to hit play on it. The song's like 8 minutes long. I'll be back at the end of that to wrap things up. But this is necessary, and I apologize for it. Okay. What was the song? I remember. Where'd it go? Audio. Yep. And who was? Oh, I know what it was. Sorry about this, everyone. But something's got to give here, and it's me going upstairs for a minute. All right, playing a song. I'll be back. It's a 9-minute long song, but at the end of the song, I'll be back. I promise. All right, stay tuned. Rider Radio. All better. Show is almost over, but I'm all better. Looking at today in music history. You know, it's been a year since Diddy was arrested. Hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in New York City on unspecified federal charges. The arrest in Manhattan followed raids on 2 of his properties in L.A. and Miami in March of last year as part of an ongoing investigation into sex trafficking. The musician had faced a series of allegations from sexual assault to abuse, including by his ex-partner, Cassie Ventura. He had denied all the claims against him. That's been going on for a year. I mean, obviously it was going on before that. But it doesn't seem like he's bouncing back from this. What's the latest on that? Like, where do we stand? Latest Diddy news. Let's do this. Hold on. Diddy news. Just type in Diddy news. What do we got? 16 hours ago something happened. All kinds of stuff's going on. Prosecutor reportedly activates legal battle against Trump's what? What is this? Diddy's prosecutor reportedly activates legal battle against Donald Trump's administration. Okay. Diddy's former prosecutor, Maureen Comey, is rebelling against Donald Trump's administration for her perceived perceived unfair job termination. Federal prosecutor has dragged Trump's government to court for failing to follow due legal process in their decision to relieve her of her duties as an attorney. I don't get it. I don't get what I'm looking at here. I just want to know what's going on with him. Is he just in jail? Is he loose? Does he have an ankle bracelet? What's the story? Sean Diddy Combs, $61.5 million Los Angeles freak-off mansion in photos. No, I don't need that. Mark Ronson recalls feeling unnerved by Diddy before allegations. All right, let's read about that. Mark Ronson, who is Uptown Funk, that guy. You know the white guy who doesn't belong in the Uptown Funk video? That's Mark Ronson. He belongs because he put the thing together, but he doesn't fit in very well. Long before Sean Diddy Combs' history of abuse came to light, alarm bells rang whenever Mark Ronson found himself around the now disgraced hip-hop mogul. For all the gigs I played for Puff, he probably spoke 5 sentences to me. But even to me, the DJ, he emitted a chaotic energy that left me both starstruck and deeply unnerved. Ronson writes in his new memoir, Night People, How to Be a DJ in 90s New York City. Book just came out yesterday. Using Diddy's former stage name, Puff Daddy. Yeah, same guy. Ronson said it became abundantly clear to him in the mid-90s that Diddy wielded a tremendous amount of power and cachet on the Manhattan club scene. He made people's careers. Playing gigs for him certainly helped mine, and his disapproval meant a certain kind of exile. Ronson writes, adding, nobody thought of Puffy as a rapper, only as a force who could will anything into existence, no matter the cost. He took over downtown, then the Hamptons, until the whole city seemed to revolve around him and his parties. I'm sure he thought I was a great DJ, but on his mission to shake up New York society, it didn't hurt to have a fresh-faced white kid from a nice family in the booth. When I got booked to play his parties, I'd look to the VIP area and see people like Muhammad Ali, Martha Stewart, Denzel Washington, and the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, all mingling. Everyone went. Says back then, the only controversy surrounding Puff was about the music, but nearly 3 decades later, horrific allegations of what was also going on beneath the surface began to come out. Diddy's lawyers did not comment. Of course they didn't. Hi, we're Us Weekly. Mark Ronson said some mean things. He said he wasn't comfortable. What would you like to say about that? In November of 23, Diddy's ex-girlfriend filed a lawsuit against Bad Boy Records founder alleging rape, physical abuse, and sex trafficking. He denied the claims and settled with her less than 24 hours later for $20 million. He was then arrested, as we mentioned, in September of 24, 1 year ago today, on racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution, to which he pled not guilty. Trial began in May. In July, they found him guilty of 2 prostitution counts, but acquitted him of the 3 more serious charges. He has remained in jail since his arrest. Is scheduled to be sentenced on October 3rd, faces a maximum of 20 years behind bars. Okay. So he's still there. Where is he locked up? Where is Diddy in prison? He's not in prison, but was recently held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn after being denied bail following his arrest in September of 24. He was released from the Brooklyn facility April of 25, is awaiting trial. So he's not locked up. At least that's the way I understand it. I don't know. I'm curious. Haven't heard much about Diddy lately. But then you Google him, it's like, well, that's your fault. If I haven't heard anything about it, it's because I have been not paying attention. And I can see that I haven't been paying attention, and suddenly I was curious. Will he do time in federal prison? Diddy demands his release from jail now, behind the bar. That was a month ago. Since late last year, Sean Diddy Combs has been held at MDC Brooklyn. So maybe he is, maybe he's not. I don't know. I can't tell. And I don't have time to figure it out because the show's over. Jay Miller says, speaking of good broadcasters, Greg Olson was at a Cooperstown baseball tournament when I was there with my son. Super good dude. Had multiple baseball conversations with him. He used me to get intel on the Syracuse Super Chiefs. I was his senior New York correspondent. Greg Olson. Sorry, I work with an Eric. Oh, yeah, he accidentally called him Eric, but whatever. And it's a.k.a. G-Reg Now, this is from his raping days. I think you meant his rapping days, but you might not have. He does seem cool. I think he's a good broadcaster. I enjoy him. Greg Olson's solid. All right, we're out of time. I'm done for the day. I'll be back with you tomorrow at 10. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got for today. Want to hear an old commercial? Want to hear Borat on Letterman? How about that? Instead of a song, I'm going to play Borat on Letterman. Sacha Baron Cohen appeared on Letterman as Borat. And it's funny.
What are you doing for lunch?
I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich.
We're gonna go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
I don't know. Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
You get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?